All right, welcome to another episode. Today we have Rafi. He is a peak performance coach for individuals like athletes and day traders. He's currently refining his systems to help people be elite, break barriers, and change perceptions to acquire peak performance. So, Rafi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. What an honor to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for you to share your story, man, because I know a little bit about it, and it's been a pivot recently over the last year and a half or so. So tell us, how did this whole thing start in terms of peak performance?
Yeah, well, let's just take it back to, I'm from Venezuela, so I came here to the United States back in 2005
Mm,
to play college ball, right? So, once you come here, I didn't speak the language and I had my own struggles with, the mental side of things and especially in the game, being able to adjust to the culture, to how the game was played here and being able to communicate. It was really hard on my mental game. So fast forward, what is it, 8 years after that, I graduated from college, graduated from grad school, and here I am in Kansas City, and I couldn't find a job. Like I was applying and applying to different places. Like, not even gonna lie to you, I applied for McDonald's, Wendy's, Subway, like things that for the most part anybody will be able to get the job. I didn't because they said that I was already qualified. I had a master's degree, and anyway, I was like, man, I just came to a point that I was like, this is frustrating. Like, what am I gonna do?
wow.
So I went to Indeed and I was looking for jobs there, and I saw baseball assistant coach. And
Mm,
at this time, I mean, I haven't been playing the game for 3 years. Like I finished my career in college and I said I'm done. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna knock the door here. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen?
yeah.
So I reached out to the coach, sent him an email, and then I reached out to other colleges in the area in Kansas City. And the very first coach that I reached out, that was a college that I played against when I was in college.
Oh,
So he responded to me. He said, "Hey, can you meet up at the baseball field 3 p.m. tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, perfect."
wow.
So I went, met up with him. We had an interview. I didn't even know, like, is this guy gonna hire me or not?
That's amazing.
Next day, he sends me another email. He says, "Can you stop by the office at noon today?" I'm like, "Yeah, great." Well, I stopped by and here's the surprise that, he wanted to give me a position. He wanted to give me an opportunity as a volunteer assistant coach, right?
Mm,
So I was like, great. Like this is awesome. Going back into the game, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna work with the catchers and you're gonna teach the mental game.
mm,
And when he said that, I was like, oh wow, okay, well, I'm not a psychologist, like I don't
yeah, yeah, yeah.
have a lot of experience in this. And he's like, well, you play the game. That's enough. And if you are willing to get the job and if you are willing to learn and be coachable, that's all I
Mm,
need. All I need you is you tell me if you want to do this or not.
wow.
Man, that was a turning point for me because I wanted to do it, but I was scared.
Yeah.
Like how am I gonna let this guy down? Like I don't know what I'm doing. Never
Mm,
coached ever, and I was honest. I was like, "Do you want to do this or not?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So I took the job, and he was phenomenal. I mean, if you're watching this, Coach Stockton, man, my love for you and your family, my guy. He gave me the opportunity to start in this game, and yeah, he took me to coaching conventions and he introduced me to some of the guys, the greatest in the game, in the mental performance game for baseball.
wow.
And that's when everything started for me. So, I was coaching at college level. I remember my first year, we went to the regionals.
Mm,
We were competing at a really high level, and from that led to another thing. One of my very good friends was an agent, or he's still an agent. He asked me, "Hey, can you help me with one of my guys here in Kansas City?" And he was new in the city. I was new in the city. He's from Venezuela. I'm from Venezuela. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So, yeah, I started helping him, as a good friend, big league guy. And yeah, one thing led to another one. So, I started working with him and Salvador Perez, my brother. If you're watching this, talk to me. So yeah, so here it is. I'm working out with the big league guy, and I was, you know, coaching college kids, and at the same time, I was running my own baseball facility. So it seems like I was chosen. That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah.
I never chose this. I was chosen to do it,
Mm,
and I'm blessed enough that I got the opportunity to have a mentor that led me to understand what it is to invest in yourself for you
mm,
to improve your skills. And that's what I did, right? Like I started hiring mentors to teach me more about the game. And then I was working with Sal and I was exposed to the big leagues. I was asking questions. I was talking to everybody, trying to learn, because I mean, this is the highest level. So I'm grateful enough that I got to experience, two World Series, everything in the game that you can
wow.
imagine. I've done it all. I haven't taken one at bat at a, big league level, but I got to be there exposed and seen what it takes and what they do and how they do things.
Mm,
So I started learning a lot of that, and with the mentor, I started creating frameworks and systems that I've seen the guys doing at the highest level
mm.
in order for me to share it with the athletes that I've had, and now I'm sharing it with traders.
I love that, brother. How important has faith played throughout your journey?
Bro, that's a beautiful question. That's a beautiful question because you see, like I was basically, raised Catholic, right? But I honestly don't think I was properly educated
Mm,
on the faith and what to do and what to believe truly. I was just, you do this, and if you don't, you're gonna get punished,
yeah.
So like I was afraid. Like I was like, I don't wanna get in trouble. So I chose not to pray. I chose not to look for, and
Mm,
um it just seems like when I was living in Bali
yeah.
2 years ago, it came into a point that things were just getting very difficult.
Mm,
And I wanted to, I didn't want to do what I do anymore. Like and I was trying to find all the things, remote
yeah.
closing and go here and go there just because I was living in Bali, I was trying to do something different.
Mm,
And when I came out of my thing, what I'm really good at, because I feel like it's a natural gift that I have, all
mm,
the doors got shot. Like
dang.
money will stop.
Wow.
Like I have my baseball job going on over here. I have people I'm working with. I said I'm not doing this no more. I'm done.
Mm,
Everything will just dry up, right? And it
dang.
came into a point that I was in the I was separated, like me and my wife separated. We were just going through some turbulences, and I found myself in the room, and I said, hey, you know what? I never talk to you. I never bother you.
Mm,
Yo, we need to have a conversation because I don't know what's going on right now. Like,
mm,
look at me now. Like I'm in the middle of nowhere by myself with, like $2,000 left in my account. Like, what did I do? Like, what did I do? Like, show me. Like, what did I do? Or give me an answer
mm.
because I'm done. I'm done being like this, feeling lost, feeling like I'm just chasing. And bro, believe it or not, 2 days later, a friend of mine called me and said, bro, I got everything that we've been looking for. And there's no job, there's no money, there's nothing that can change it. I got it. And I'm like, bro, sign me up. What is that? He told me Jesus.
Um,
I was like, no way.
yeah.
So yeah, he talked to me about it. He told me you gotta go to this church. And I was like, at this point, I was like, wait a second, this is no coincidence.
Mm,
Didn't go to the church that week. The same Saturday, another friend invited me. We were just gonna go have food, and he asked me, different friend, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, nothing going on. You wanna go to church with me?
yeah.
I was like, actually, made an excuse, didn't go.
Oh.
3 days later, my wife, she came back from Thailand. Let's work this out. Let's figure it out. Do you wanna go to church with me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's go. And yeah, we went to church and everything shifted, and that's where I understood that God has given me a gift and has given me a purpose, and his will is what I'm supposed to do, which is, work with people. And that's the reason why, Romans 12:2 is such a powerful, it's a powerful verse for me. because it speaks of, what I do, and this is the gift that he gave me. And that's why I'm telling you, like everything has taken a different turn now because at this point I understand that this is not just for me to pay my bills.
Mm,
This is God's will. This is why he designed me. This is why he put me here to work with other people on the mental side. Not just to help them do this, but just to help them to become a better people, better
mm,
performers, better
yeah.
human beings overall.
I love that, bro. When you think about the highest performers, the elite, maybe some of your best students, what are some of the characteristics? What are some of the traits that they pretty much all share?
Faith, beliefs.
Mm,
These guys you know, who do it at the highest level, and guys who are not playing at the big league level, and because, I was in that level so much that I feel like these guys don't need me. I feel like I need to help people to get to that level. And that's what I'm kind of focusing now.
oh, I see.
And those guys who are doing it at the highest level in college level or who are, just started playing professionally, they all have something in common. They have strong faith and strong beliefs, not only
Mm,
in a higher power, God, but also that God gave them what they need in order for them to make it work. So they
mm,
have a really strong belief in themselves and that they're not doing this on their own, that somebody
yeah.
got their back. And it took me a little bit of time for me to truly see the patterns. Like, this is not coincidence.
Yeah, dude, that's so powerful, man. So, from your experience, as you've worked with some of these high performers, what are then some of the daily, maybe even weekly rituals or habits to help strengthen their belief, to help strengthen their faith? Because I'm sure, and you've told us now that there's been times where the belief was low, right? And
Yeah.
life was happening. So, how does one get back up into a really good spot, but also what are the habits to support that?
I was big into meditation. I've always been. That was something that I really got really deep into when I lived in Bali.
Mm,
I was deep into meditation and I've gotten into it from a different perspective now, right? Because in the past, I was doing Vipassana and practicing some Buddhism practices, and
mm,
I still do the same technique because it's the same technique that we use from a conscious standpoint. We just breathe through the nostril and out the nostril. It's a super easy technique.
mm-hmm.
But now I just use it to quiet the mind, to allow myself to hear,
Yeah.
right? Because we are so busy with the things that we want to do. We're so busy with, everything that is happening out here. And we necessarily don't have either the skill or the time to hear God.
Mm-hmm.
He is always talking to us. He's always expressing something towards us. And when we pray and when we ask for guidance, but you don't give them the time for you to listen, it's really hard. And that's the reason why some people pray and some people say, man, you're not doing this. Well, you're not listening. You're not quieting the noise. So that's something that I've been, guiding a lot of my athletes and some of my traders to give yourself some time of solitude and quiet so you can
Mm,
connect, so you can hear, so you can feel, so you can see.
mm-hmm.
Because once you do that, what happens is now you regulate your nervous system, right? And when you regulate your nervous system, you're able to see things differently. Now your
Mm,
perception changes, right? So because you're not from like what I say in in my program, there are different states of performance. And if you are in a reactive state, you're emotional, you have so much going on, you're
yeah.
not going to be able to execute. You're not going to be able to see things for what they are, which you're not
Mm,
neutral at that point. So when we quiet the mind, we listen. Now we tap into the will. What is that?
mm,
Where are we going to be guided to? What is it that we need to do? So it is very important for my guys to understand that quieting the mind and connecting is one of the most powerful practices that you can have.
mm-hmm. And you didn't really mention this, but it's this idea of like stillness and letting go.
Hmm.
So, how does that play into this whole concept?
Well, stillness and letting go is one of, in my opinion, one of the most powerful things from meditation, right?
Mm,
Because meditation is a practice that is always changing. It's never going to be the same.
yeah.
The only thing that you can do is to be there
Mm,
and do the
mm,
thing that is going to get you where you want to be, which is focusing on the breath. You're not focusing on many things. You're not getting distracted by a random itch that you're getting or random pain that you get. You're just focusing on the breath. So now you let go.
mm,
Itches, thoughts, emotions that might tapping into the body, certain sensations that happen in the body. Now you allow yourself to see and feel without reacting. So
mm,
when you do that, it's just like it's a practice that then when you are in your daily life, and my athletes, for example, you observe and something triggered you emotionally, you observe it, you don't react. Now you can bounce back a lot quicker because once you
mm,
become emotional and you pay attention, you give a meaning to the thing that you're facing, it's over. You're out,
mm, mhm.
right? So like letting go is to being able to just observe and let it be.
Yes.
It's a beautiful
Mhm,
practice. If you do this like in your life in like I have a really good friend that he's big into sell. He has this whole sell thing and we talk about it and it comes into sales as well. You know, it's like sometimes you just gotta let go what you feel, you know, or what you think. And it happens to
mm,
my traders as well. You are in a position and then you're
mhm,
feeling all these nerves and you gotta let it go. You just gotta be,
mm,
just let it play out.
mm.
So it's a skill that is trained for sure.
Yeah. So why do we do that though? Why do we have a hard time to let go and to surrender and to be, observant?
It is hard because we're never taught, you know,
Mm,
and we have been programmed to go, 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 chase, 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 chase. What's next? Right? So
yeah.
it's like we need to understand that in order for you to go, you gotta slow down in order for you to speed up. So
Hmm.
it's just like when you're on the go, on the go, on the go, it's gonna come into a point that you run out of gas. You can't really keep going. So it's like if you know when to slow down, to recharge, to see
Mm,
clearly, to hear, and then you execute, and then you do it again. Like you see what I'm saying? Like you are at a peak state
yeah.
constantly.
Mm, I love that, man. It's so interesting because it's totally the opposite, right, of what we've been conditioned of like
Yeah.
more, learn more, do more, like everything more. So when you hear this saying like success is subtractive, right? Maybe that's part of it. Let like taking stuff out. What are some other principles that kind of go in line with this whole theme of surrendering, letting go, being present?
You know, when we think about success, I think success has different meanings for different people, you know, based out of your or bringing based out of what you're chasing, you know,
Yeah.
because I mean, I have people that, you know, success to them is to make 50K a month,
Hmm.
you know, but their family and their kids are suffering.
Yeah.
They're not leading them to anything. They're not giving them attention, right? But yeah, they're providing 50K a month, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
And then you can have somebody else who is a role model for their
Hmm.
kids, who is a, you know, true father, who is a true leader. And he's not making 50K, but he is that guy in the house. He is that
Hmm.
support, right? His wife is happy, his kids are happy, he is happy. Who is a
Hmm.
successful person here, right? So I guess it depends, you know, for like how you see success and all that. But my opinion, I feel like success leaves clues, you know,
Hmm.
and whatever you focus on and truly decide yourself to truly dive in and master in,
Hmm.
and if you can change people's lives through that mastery that you've done on yourself, man, now you're changing somebody else's life. And we're gonna play, you know, there is a chain effect. If I change somebody's life, that person's gonna change somebody else's life. So now I change two people. And then those two people will change four. Now I change four people,
Yeah.
right? So in my opinion, if you can master something, a skill, whatever it is, for example, like meditation, If you bring this into a room to 10 kids, those 10 kids are gonna be forever different.
Yeah.
That to me is success right there. Being able to
Mm.
change people's lives for the best.
Yeah, I love that. So, we said it a little bit off camera, but there's a big, you don't have to get too much into it, but there's a big event or this situation happening right in your personal life in the next couple months.
Yeah.
So, as you think about being a leader and leaving a legacy, how do you define that at this stage in your life?
That's beautiful because I've been sitting with it. And I definitely I'm not gonna do because here's the problem.
Mm,
We'll never go to school to parenting.
yeah.
We go to school to do some other things, and then you hire mentors to teach you how to make money and how to have a better business. But not a lot of people would
Mm,
actually be trained properly on how to
mm-hmm,
be a father. And that's something that, for example, for me, I love my dad. My dad is he passed away right before we went to Bali.
oh wow.
But I definitely want to do what my dad wasn't for me. And he was there and he
Yeah.
was beautiful to me, but he was there for what he knew. He was
Mm,
there for what he didn't get taught,
yeah.
right? So for me now, it's like having principles is very important for my kid, right? Like I'm gonna teach
Mm,
him principles for him to follow because if you think about principles are formulas, and once you understand principles, you
mm-hmm,
understand these formulas, all you gotta do is punch the numbers into the formulas and you will get the results no matter what.
mm,
So that's how I'm gonna raise my kid. Principles. There are principles of living. There are principles of believing. There are principles of performance. There are
mm,
there are principles on everything.
yeah.
And that's how I'm gonna program him. Having
Mm-hmm,
principles for him to not be so reactive, but just to truly live a life on neutrality and probability. Because I mean that's what life is all about. It's
mm,
risky, you take risks, and it's all on a probability base. So if I can teach him those principles, I know he's gonna be a different one.
mm-hmm, yeah. And it's also they'll observe,
Yeah.
they'll observe us as how who we are and how we operate. So, how are you bringing this idea of like high performance into, or how have you brought it into your relationship, or maybe you haven't, right? Because it's a completely different ball game, right? From my experience, high performance, we're usually seeking a result, the highest performance, right?
Hmm.
Whereas in a relationship, in marriage or partnership, they don't want to be coached. They want to be
Yeah.
heard, understood, and seen. So, how have you been able to integrate some of those principles in high performance to maybe marriage and a partnership?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because, I guess, like I said before, peak performance, high performance, it all depends on people's perception. For me, and this is something that I teach my athletes and my traders, peak performance is just the result of something that you repeat over and over, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when we have principles, we have frameworks, and we have systems, and we focus mainly on those principles, systems, the result is the
Mm,
performance, right? So what is good and what is bad necessarily it alternates. It's different, because for example, for a trader, you might do everything right. You might follow your plan, you might execute on your
yeah.
system, and you still will not get the result that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Is that a bad performance?
Mm-mm.
For somebody that lose money, might be, but my
Yeah.
guy is following his rules, he's following his principles, he's following his framework. It's
Mm-hmm.
performance. He is executing on what he's supposed to. So in
Mm,
relationships, it comes like that, right? It's being able to be consistent on a certain way of handling the relationship, right? Your communication is very important.
yeah.
So if you're consistently performing on these frameworks, following these frameworks,
Mm,
truly listening, asking the right questions,
yeah.
not being reactive, and allowing to truly process the sentence or understanding what is happening, those are principles, right? That whenever you just live it day in, day out, you are gonna have a high
Yeah.
performance. You are gonna have a high connection. And it
Mm,
happens just not in relationships, it happens with friendships
yeah.
and everything around it. So for the peak performances, you just gotta follow the principles that will lead you to have the,
Mm,
the good results.
yeah, the follow through, and it's interesting because Um, it just brings me back to all the times when my wife has said something and then I react, right? And then I feel attacked, and so I get defensive, right? And then I was just talking to a guy today where uh I'm a part of this brotherhood, and he goes like, "Yeah, man, there was this whole story, and long story short, um his girl was pulling up pictures of some chicks on Instagram. It's like I didn't even know I followed them, and then he defended himself. So, what do you recommend for guys like him and I, where we maybe like react and get defensive? What's maybe the recommendation there?
Dude, that's a good one. Allowing yourself to feel.
Mm,
Because what happens is, from a performance standpoint, when something is said or you see something, there is a way that your mind interprets the information, right? Your
yeah,
perception of it. Now you give it meaning. And this happens within seconds,
I know.
right? So whenever you give that meaning, now you have somehow attached that meaning to a previous experience or a limiting belief that is within you somewhere.
That's
You
good.
get triggered, right? Now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
feel that you have the urge to say something. And this is where I tell people use the breath. The breath is your best friend. If you are in a position that what have been said doesn't feel good in the body, just take a breath.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm,
Once you do that, you regulate, right? Because what
mm,
happens is you get into firefly. Something
yeah,
happens, something triggered. You say something. Wait, oh no, no, that's not what I meant. Oh, you already said it.
I know.
Once it's said,
Yeah,
it's said.
you set it off.
You know what I'm saying? So if something is said and it feels, take that breath. Don't say anything. Before you say something, take that breath. That's
Yeah.
gonna be your beat. That's gonna be your
Mm,
pause. And believe it or not, within that little second, 2 seconds that you do that, your brain finds, wait, why
mm,
am I feeling this way? Or you truly see, wait, that's not what she meant. Oh, wait a second. It's interrupting the pattern, right? That's what
yeah.
basically it is. So you feel the sensation, you feel reactive, take the breath. Don't say anything
Mm,
yet. If the other person say, hey, you listen, I'm like, yeah, I'm just processing. Hold on.
mm.
Hold on.
Right.
You know?
I know. I get you. I think a big piece to that is also self-awareness.
Huge.
Being present in the moment, and yeah, it's so interesting because that's a big concept that's been coming up for me personally recently, is this idea of
Hmm.
where am I being inflexible to the
Hmm.
extent that it causes a reaction, which
Yeah.
is usually a reaction is not a good thing, right? For me and whatever in relationships, eating at night, and I feel, you know, a craving, and then I'll freaking eat whatever. Like there's something there. There's a pattern. What are some other patterns on the flip side of that
Hmm.
you see are at the highest levels for high performers? One of them being self-aware, being present. What are some
Hmm.
of these other ones beyond maybe the ones we've mentioned, like faith and some of those things?
Before I say this to you, you said something over here that I feel like you gotta hear this because once you understand this, I feel like things will take a turn for you.
Mm,
So whenever you feel reactive, okay, there's a reaction, right? We have been programmed to, oh, why are you acting like that? Like somebody will ask you that, right? Like, oh,
mm,
look at his reaction, right?
yeah.
That's something that is being exposed. It's something that we listen to. And
Mm,
here's the thing that I want you to think about this for a second, because if you truly can hone in into this, everything's gonna change for the
mm,
better, right? So whenever you get a reaction, don't think about reacting. Think about responding. Because when
Mm,
you react, you're emotionally triggered. When
yeah.
you respond, you have processed information,
Mm,
right? So if I said, I don't know, let me just give an example here, like, hey, Luis, you're stupid,
mm-hmm.
right? A normal reaction would be like, what you mean, man? Like you get already kind of like,
Mm,
like, what you call me stupid
yeah.
for?
Like
Right?
offended
Like,
and
what,
yeah.
what?
Mm,
Okay, so you're stupid.
mm,
You take that breath, like I said, and you don't react, you respond.
mm,
Huh, why do you think so? Right? So you
yeah.
see, there's a response. Like, why? This is his
Yeah.
perception, it's not yours. He said it, you didn't.
Yeah.
You see
Mm,
what I'm saying? So instead of reacting, how do you respond to the situation? And I'm gonna give
mm-hmm.
you an example. You're driving in the road, pa, your tire gets busted,
Mm,
right? Somebody will be like, man, you're gonna get
yeah.
upset or whatever, right?
That's
How do
so
you
good.
respond to that? Well, I need to stop the car and figure out what I'm gonna do next. If I had a meeting, yo, busted tire,
Yeah.
I gotta take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to the situation rather than how you react? We don't react, we respond because we
Mm-hmm.
process information. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what comes up is this idea of responsibility,
Yeah,
taking
responsibility.
responsibility for the ownership, really, right? Like and then we go into leadership. How would a
Hmm.
leader respond or take responsibility for it? But it's so interesting, right? Because from the outside looking, it's like, yeah, but it's like, I think my question to that then is like, yeah, and I guess your answer is probably what you said is like breaking the pattern. Because
Yeah.
in the heat of the battle or whatever, it's like I react, but then I think to your point is the breath and just like let me respond, let me.
Well, let me go deeper into that because that's
Mm,
something that I do in phase one of my program, right? So it is very important for us to understand our patterns, right?
yeah,
Becoming aware. You cannot change something that you're not aware of,
yeah,
right? So if you get triggered by, let's say, people commenting on your physiques, like you
mm,
gain weight or that you're short or that you're too tall or whatever it is, there's a trigger there, right? You don't know that. Just every time that somebody says something about your appearance, you get insecure or you get angry or whatever, right? There is a pattern here. You're not aware of it. Now we know. Every time
yeah,
somebody comments on my clothing or on my appearance, I don't like it. I get frustrated. Okay, so now
mm,
you see the pattern. Now we need to understand what's the trigger. Where does
yeah,
that come from? Why do I get triggered? Right? So
mm,
sometimes, majority of the time, these triggers will put you into a performance state, right? And there are three performance states. You have the emotional state, right, which is the reactive state.
yeah,
And then you have the executing state, which is the neutral. And then you have the fight or flight, which is the shutdown state, right? So it's
mm,
like, okay, so whenever you become reactive, what state do you go into? And then
mm,
once you find out that, like, okay, so this is the state that I go in, now we need to find the tools for you to self-regulate. And this is what I just said. Take that
mm,
breath,
yeah,
right? You regulate the self. So basically, you're breaking the pattern, but you
yeah,
understand it. You're aware of the
mm,
pattern. You understand what triggers it. This puts you into this state. What do? We can't go forward from this
yeah,
state. Like, can you make a good decision if you're angry? Can you do that?
yeah. It's very difficult.
It is very difficult. So, okay, so you know that certain things get you angry. What's
Hmm.
the trigger? Okay, now
Yeah,
you found it. Now you know what performance state you're in. Okay, now I need to
mm,
break that pattern and put myself in a neutral state that I can respond
yeah.
accordingly to the situation.
This is so interesting because the big assumption there is that we are rational. The
Yeah,
big assumption
yeah.
is like because sometimes in a relationship we would obviously if you haven't done the work, for me an example, I would rather be right than be like understanding or like
Mm-hmm.
like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? But to your point, I've obviously evolved beyond that, but like unless we are rational to be like hey, do you want to, there's a saying, it's funny, it's like, dude, do you want to be right or do you want to be married? You know what I'm saying? Like we're like, so right, so it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting there because I feel like there's so many layers there, especially in an intimate relationship,
Oh
right?
my gosh, so much. Yeah,
Where they really know us and stuff like that, and they know what buttons to push and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, it's huge, man. And that's the other thing. Like whenever you start, tapping into your faith,
Yeah,
one of the biggest thing that I feel like can change everything is being able to have compassion.
yeah.
Compassion is such a thing that lacks. And I'm
Mm,
speaking from my own, from my own personality, my own personal opinion. Like compassion hasn't been a thing for me. Like it's very
mm,
hard for me to be compassionate
yeah.
about myself,
Mm-hmm.
compassionate towards others sometimes. And that's something that in my journey now with my faith, it is a
Yeah.
lot easier for me to truly be more compassionate, which
Mm,
ultimately it helps you to respond better,
I
right? So
know.
now it makes it easier for you not to be so reactive.
Yeah, man, this is so good. This is so interesting because it's really so let me ask you this. What's the identity beyond maybe the obvious one, which is be a high performer? What's the identity that someone can step into to really level up? Like maybe you've seen it in your clients and the guys at the highest level. Like
Mhm.
how do they see themselves? Who do they see themselves as?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question because that's something that we do. We do a mental picture creation, and that's basically building an alter ego, right? And
Mm,
every performer has it.
yeah,
And it's like you wearing a costume. It's like you're a character. It's like GTA, basically, right?
yeah.
Like you are this character that has zero fear, that believes truly in himself, that knows that he's unstoppable,
Mm,
right? But this character has another side of him. And
mm,
I love to put, Kobe Bryant as the best example. The Mamba, like whenever he gets into the court, whenever he gets into the arena, don't talk to
mm,
me, don't touch me. This
yeah,
is a war,
right.
right? But once he gets out of that, he's Kobe. Once he's in there, he's not Kobe no more. He's Mamba. So
Mm,
this person, this identity, it's somebody that you have to build and you have to truly believe in it and you have to
mm,
truly envision it,
mm,
visualize it,
yeah.
feel it, literally stepping into this person's shoes. Because here's where what we talked about beliefs, right?
Mm,
It feels like that person can do anything
no.
because that person's unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But whenever we are ourselves, we still have our insecurities. We
Yeah.
still have our doubts and our fears. It's normal. We're humans. But whenever you can actually turn that switch on or off, like I'm about to do this. I am the killer. Um,
Mm,
I don't know, like the killer Luis.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
whenever I'm that person, bro, like I'm just doing this, it's like you start embodying this person.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like now you're not bringing the person from the street into your job.
Mm,
This is the person, but
mm-hmm.
once you go in here, this is the killer now.
Yeah,
It's two completely different people.
that's
So
true.
whenever you learn how to do that, it helps you. And I don't know if you heard this before. Like in athletes, you hear this all the time. Leave your troubles out the door,
Yeah.
right? Because whenever you come in the door, you're not that person no more. You're
Mm-hmm.
somebody else now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it like even you know, like for example, like recently in December I lost my grandfather, and so I
Wow.
still remember that day I had calls, I had stuff to do, right? But and I get chills thinking about it, but I think also yeah, there's a piece there where I have to be careful how I say this because also I don't want people to misinterpret. Um, I think there's also something healthy about when you are stepping into work or a project where you kind of not disassociate, but you let go of all this stuff because you're very focused in the thing, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, 100% I agree with you and I've lived it. I've seen it happen where um you kind of have well if you are able to too, right? Because if the
Yeah.
emotions are overwhelming, then
Yeah.
it's very normal and natural. So I 100% agree with you there. And also the second example is um 2022 or one of these, one of these years, 22, like right after the pandemic, um a similar situation, right, where something happened, right, personal, and I remember I was watching, I think it was like Andy Frisella or somebody, right?
Hmm.
And then he goes like, no one cares, work harder. And I was like, okay, fuck, like, wait, hold on a second. Like, first of all, I don't know if I agree with that, but is it effective? And it's
Mm.
absolutely effective for me, because then I took that, be like, because I was gonna tell, because I was working on a team, and I was gonna let the guy know, hey man, like I need a day, bro, like, like I need time, but
Mm.
then I assumed that he didn't like care, and just to like
Mm.
go do the thing, execute. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
So if it was very effective, right? But then I think maybe the question here for you is, how do you balance that? How do you balance leave things at the door when there maybe are some real things that you got to process?
Yeah, man, this is a beautiful question because I feel like this is what I've been doing lately, and we're not here for ourselves, and that's what I'm
Mm,
understanding, right? We're not here to chill, I'm chilling here
yeah,
on Earth, like this is my life. We're here with a purpose. We're
yeah,
here with a mission, and it was given to us, right? And it seems that we don't do things for ourselves. We do it for the higher power, for God.
yes,
So everything that happens in our experience is based out of perception, right? So my dad passed away right before we went to Bali. I had 9 kids that I was working with that day. So we were living here in Des Moines, and because I lived in Kansas City, majority of my clientele was in Kansas City. So I was driving 2.5 hours there and back on the
mm,
weekends. So I had my first guy at 8 a.m. and I was gonna leave around 5. So my wife wakes me up and say, "Hey, your dad passed away." This happened at 4 a.m. I had 9 people that are
yeah,
depending on me.
yeah,
Out of those 9 people, 3 of them had a very important tournament and some showcases that they had to go to. They were
mm,
depending on me.
mm-hmm,
So here I am. I just lost my dad, and I have to
mm,
hop on a car, drive 2.5 hours, and give my best to these 9 people. Right?
mm,
They don't care. I mean, they
yeah,
do, but
yeah,
dude, I'm sorry, man. You lost
yeah,
your dad. I gotta go to a tournament tomorrow, or I gotta go to a showcase tomorrow,
yeah,
right? So for me, it was like, I need to do my job.
mm,
I need to do what I came here for. And it's funny enough because at the time I didn't comprehend it like I do now.
mm,
Right? So I had that, I guess, I already had the understandings because I was already working on these programs and like I was telling you, being able to observe and respond and letting go.
yeah,
But now that I associated faith and I
mm,
know that there is a thing for me to do here, we are gonna be faced with things like my mom passing away. It's her time to go. God is calling her. It has nothing to do with me. Me
mm,
feeling a certain way because she's gone is selfishness in a way, right?
that's true.
So when I started understanding that, yeah, it's painful and it hurts, but the show goes on,
Yeah.
right? So I showed up to those 9 guys and I was on the zone. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment that I had a break, that I had water, that thought would come into my mind. You just lost your dad. You will not talk to him ever again. He's gone. And I could feel breaking. And I was like, no, no, we can't be doing this right now.
Yeah,
Let's go
man.
back into the zone. Right. So I was feeling, I was there. I was feeling it all. I was performing. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in the kite ride, I was feeling it and I had some tears and all that, but
Yeah.
I was able to turn it off for that time because I was going there to do what my purpose is. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this helps
Yeah.
answering the question, but I feel like that's where, you can do the alter ego. Like, this is my purpose. This is who I am. This is
Mm,
what I do.
yeah.
This is for him,
Yeah.
right? My purpose, he's given it to me. and I gotta do it. That's my boss right there. So
Yeah.
once you do that, man, I feel like he heals you a lot quicker than you think.
That's so powerful, brother. Well, as we wrap up here, it's been a powerful session. Let's say this was like your last message to the world and you had a chance to just speak it to everybody, right?
Mhm.
What would be that message?
Man, that's one message that I would love to say to people is understand yourself. That's one
Mm,
of the things that I'm gonna say because once you become aware of where you've been and who you've been, now you have the power to change to who you're supposed to be.
mm.
So being able to understand that is gonna help you to get where you want to be.
Oh, dude, I love that, brother. Well, thank you so much. As we wrap up, any parting thoughts? Anything else?
Yeah, no, bro. I mean, just thank you so much for having me. And if like I say, you want to keep talking about this, and we're here for that, and we'd love to talk more about peak performance stuff.
Of course, brother. Yeah. So where can people find more about you, your work, and even connect with you?
Yeah, definitely. So my Instagram is Rafi Cedeno, Raficedeno, and everything is in there. Rafi Cedeno on Instagram, and yeah, just hit a follow, and yeah, if you want to learn more than happy to get to you.
I love it, man. Well, thank you everybody for listening and viewing, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother.
All right,
Blessing
brother.
to you. Have a good day.
God bless.